All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the lightweight division where Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s CEO Leonard Ellerbe delivers a message to DEVIN Haney and Shakur Stevenson about the Gervonta Tank Davis fight taking place after Ryan Garcia. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we are going to be in the 135-pound division, the talent-rich 135-pound division, where over the next 2 months, this month, April and May, all of the top fighters in that division will be fighting. And at the end of May, we could have a division that looks a lot different, but specifically, what we're going to talk about is something that Leonard Ellerbe, the CEO of Mayweather Promotions, had to say about Gervonta Tank Davis fighting Shakur Stevenson and DEVIN Haney after the Ryan Garcia fight. And also want to put in a little bit of information that came out of the camp of the multi-time world champion Nonito Donaire about the fight as well. Now, before I get into that, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you are a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you so much for what you continue to do for the channel. And thank you so much to everybody that supports, and the super thanks of the videos. Matty O, John Boy, Barber D, thank you to all of y'all. But let's get into this, because this is one of the most interesting discussions in boxing right now. It brings in a lot of different points about, the best fighting the best, prize fighting, being a boxer versus a prize fighter. What's more important, the belts or the money? And because in this lightweight division, we have all the belts with DEVIN Haney, and you have all of the fan base, or the largest portions of the fan base and the fan interest that is taking place over with Gervonta Davis and the fights that he's having. Right. So you naturally are having a lot of back and forth about when is DEVIN Haney and Gervonta Davis going to fight, or Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson. Right now, Leonard Ellerbe, who is the CEO of Mayweather Promotions, chimed in on the subject and said he was asked about it. And he said, look, man, there's a bunch of fights over there at ESPN or at Top Rank with DEVIN and Shakur. And DEVIN and Shakur should fight each other, and don't worry about fighting Gervonta Davis, right? You guys have excellent fights over there that you guys can do. That seems like the fight that should be made next. If he said, first of all, DEVIN Haney has a very, very good fight coming up with a very, very good fighter. So asking questions about what's going to happen with Gervonta and DEVIN Haney, that's putting the cart before the horse. He's got to beat Lomachenko first. But even then, he's got another excellent top fighter over there, Shakur Stevenson, that he should be fighting as well, right? So basically saying, look, man, we're not thinking about him. Now, somebody can say, well, Leonard Ellerbe doesn't speak for Gervonta Davis. Well, he's in that call. He's over there in the press conferences and standing next to him, and obviously involved in the promotion to some degree. So he's obviously getting some degree of consultation from Leonard Ellerbe, and obviously getting a lot of consultation from Al Heyman, right? So that is that's kind of like what his stance on it was. Now, there was also a conversation we had on this channel with I believe someone that is two people that should be wound up being in the Hall of Fame as a manager, and another one as a fighter, and that is Rachel and Nonito Donaire. And I asked them a series of questions about that fight. Now, I asked Nonito Donaire, hey, Nonito, what would you want to do if you were Gervonta Davis? And he said, if it was me, I want to prove I'm the belt, and to me, that means the belt. So I would want, if I'm Gervonta Davis, I want to fight DEVIN Haney, right? So That was, from the point of view of a fighter. Then I asked his manager and wife, Rachel, okay, well, Rachel, if Nonito tells you that he wants to fight, that he's Gervonta Davis and he wants to fight Devin Haney, what would you say needs to be done in order for you to take that fight, considering the pay-per-view numbers, considering the gate, and considering all of the monetary things related to it? And at the end of the conversation, I won't go through all of the details and the scenarios, but we laid out reasonable expectations for the pay-per-views for Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia, and reasonable estimates or projections for the pay-per-view between Devin Haney and Lomachenko. And just to tell you what they were real quick, 800,000 pay-per-views for Gervonta and Ryan, because, and I use that number because that is around what Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury did, and around what Canelo Alvarez did with David Benavidez. And Showtime was kind of using those numbers when they talked about what they think it will do, right? And then I said I'll add 150,000 for Lomachenko and Devin Haney on ESPN pay-per-view. And the reason why I said those numbers and use that is because that's right around what Terrence Crawford did with Sean Porter and what he did with Terrence Crawford did with Amir Khan. Like, one was like 125, one was like 135, something like that. So rounded up and said, okay, give him 150. So as a manager, and this is again Rachel Donaire, who has negotiated many championship fights for her partner and her husband, Nonito Donaire, she came and said, well, look, if I was Gervonta Davis, I would start the negotiation at 80-20. And if I might be willing to go down to 75-25, right? So then we projected and said, okay, well, what is the say it does 400,000 pay-per-views. Gervonta Davis versus Devin Haney does 400,000 pay-per-views. How much money do you think that would mean that Devin Haney would make? And then we put in another something in here, which was called basically a ceiling, which meant that you had, or a threshold of pay-per-view buys that you have to sell before you start getting paid. Because that's another factor in how people get paid off pay-per-views. You don't start getting paid off that first dollar, right? You get paid off of once, they make their money, and you can negotiate different thresholds for different people. So she would say, it seems to me, seeing as Devin Haney doesn't really have a rich history in pay-per-views, you would do that but you would set that threshold right around 200,000 pay-per-view buys. And Gervonta's threshold to start getting paid would probably be around 100,000. But at the end of it, we said, okay, how much money do you think that Devin Haney would make? Well, she did the numbers and she said, well, I think that he may wind up making like $3.3 to $3.5 million, which is what? Less money than he's getting paid in his fights right now to fight Gervonta Davis. And if it comes in any lower than 400,000, then he's going to make less money than he's making right now. And if Gervonta Davis doesn't give him 75-25 and he sticks on 80-20, which is more than his right to do, there you go. You wind up having a situation where it's going to cost money. Right now, Devin Haney is a free agent. So for that next fight, at least that's what his camp says. So you don't have to bring in the promotional costs of Bob Arum. However, you do run into that, just the situation we laid out. And what Gervonta Davis's team said is, look, man, we're not taking a pay cut to make that Devin Haney fight. So when you look at what Leonard Ellerbe said, and he's said that on multiple times, he's like, look, man, Gervonta Davis is not taking a pay cut to fight Devin Haney. Because Devin Haney is not, first of all, because he's just not taking a pay cut. He's not making the same amount of money. He's not taking a pay cut to fight Devin Haney. So Devin Haney would have to come in would be in a situation where he would have to get paid significantly less money to fight Gervonta Davis. And then, even if he wins and there's a rematch clause, he's going to take significantly less money twice for that as well, because they would negotiate that in there. So there's a lot of hurdles that come into that fight monetarily that are just real things. And then it's that balance between Gervonta Davis really wanting the fight because he's a fighter and he wants to prove that he's the best, and the monetary considerations that come into play for every human being on the face of this earth, right? Definitely in the United States, and every fighter that is a prize fighter. But anyway, That's just food for thought. Just wanted to share you and update you on that. I thought it was a really, really interesting conversation and quality boxing, and really a quality boxing conversation, which gives you a little bit of an insight into what's going on behind the scenes in the minds of champions and the managers whose job it is to guide their career and keep them financially viable as human beings. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.